I don't even know if I could articulate this, but to me, it's so crazy because you are so close to your baby. You're like, it's right there. You know what I mean? When you're sitting next to your wife.
Well, no, it's not in here.
Well,
it could be.
Oh, you're not pregnant?
I'm not the one. No, but, you know, Trump outlawed that.
They're right here. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get into that.
This is the Gray Hair and Daycare podcast, with a combined age of 111 years and a combined IQ right in that same range. Your hosts, Frank Sirio and Carlo Russo.
Welcome back. Here we are.
Yeah.
We're just before we got started talking about any number of things that have nothing to do with the podcast, and we're probably going to change it to something completely new, sadly. But no, we are back. This is the Gray Hair and Daycare podcast.
Episode 14.
14. 14. It just keeps clicking by and by and by. It's amazing. As always, I am Frank Sirio. Mm-hmm. I am 55 years old, and my wife is 31 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
The countdown is really on now.
It's odd. Well, now the countdown is either to week 37 or to week 39. So we're either 6 or 8 weeks away. Wow. Right, because it could be
because they're going to induce
that window.
There is, well, the 37. I think we're going to go to 39 because all the, not to give away anything that we'll talk about later, but all of the numbers have been pretty good with the gestational diabetes. Because if those weren't, then they would be like week 37. They want to induce because they don't want the kid to get
out of there.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's it. But here we are now. This week we have had very relevant produce references
yes.
up until now. This week, my little girl is the size of a Jacama. Do you have
a what?
Do you have any idea what a Jacama is?
If
anybody, Christine, do you know?
I'm not really good with English. Commas, question marks.
Jacama. And then the other reference was a coconut. But a coconut was a couple weeks ago.
Coconut. Because that was
getting bigger and smaller.
Right. Because a coconut. Well, remember we were talking about different sized coconuts, right? The one you
There's the trimmed one and the one off the tree.
So maybe that's where we're going here. But what's a Jacama?
Don't know.
Oh, you didn't find out?
No, I didn't even look it up. I'm like, maybe Carlo will know.
A Jacama.
Like, I really don't. Like, all I know is she's bigger. She's bigger. But so she's the size of a large Jacama. I'm probably not even pronouncing it right, even. Or a coconut. You love those too. Jacamas. She is gaining 1/3 to 1/2 of her birth weight in the next 7 weeks.
Go get it, Josie.
That's it. Her brain is developing rapidly.
Nice.
She can open her eyes and focus now.
Wow.
And should be able to read the paper. And she can hear things outside the womb. So the sound thing is a real thing for her now. So that's where we are. Week 31. Jacama, if you know what that is.
You know that's going to be in You Were Wrong segment.
Yeah.
No, idiots. It's not a Jacama. It's whatever.
It's a Jacama.
Jacama. It's a beautiful fruit. I don't know what the hell
that is. We'll see. But yeah, so gaining a lot of weight at this point, getting bigger, brain developing rapidly, opening eyes, and can focus. And that's
amazing.
It's an amazing thing to see. And some of the interactions that we'll talk about later now that are happening are really cool.
Isn't it? I don't even know if I could articulate this, but to me, it's so crazy because you are so close to your baby. You're like, it's right there. You know what I mean? When you're sitting next to your wife.
Well, no, it's not in here.
It
could be.
Oh, you're not pregnant?
I'm not the one. No, but, Trump outlawed that.
They're right here. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get into that.
We get into that later.
But it's so close. It's still in the room with you. It's, you know what I mean? It's like, but it's not.
Yes.
It's like, does that make?
Yes.
Right. It's strange.
It is. It's very different to think about. And what I think is like, and it's just as it becomes more real, it's interesting because I think where I would have thought I would be more and more nervous.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see, look, there's a bigger impact on Kelly than me from this nesting standpoint. she is in that mode now.
Yeah.
Right? Like I turn around, I come into the bedroom the other day and she's got a drawer open and it's all these little compartments that she's all laid out for all the baby. And she's like, this is going to be for 0 to 3. This is for 1 to... She's got all, and she's just like, we're going to be ready. Yeah, she's really getting into it. And I, to a certain extent, I have those things too.
You're worried about podcasts.
I'm worried about how do I get a shot of that drawer into the podcast. But it's fun the closer it gets, and thinking about and having like today we had we both had it sounds silly. So I've been joking around with one of Kelly's cousins about Disney cruises, right?
Okay.
They've never been on one, but they would like to go.
Sure.
We've been on a bunch. And
without kids,
with no kids, right? Like just us.
Just imagine what they're going to do.
Like now we're finally people won't look at us weird. We'll have a baby with us. So we're looking at stuff, and we were talking to them, and they're like, well, we're trying to figure out what the right age is. I'm like, there's baby races now on the Disney cruises.
Okay,
there is a thing called the Jack baby race.
Wow.
The Jack baby. So you remember who Jack is from The Incredibles, the little baby.
Oh yeah.
The
Absolutely.
baby, the baby of the Incredibles family. So they do this thing on sea days. So when you're just at sea, the middle of the day in the atrium of the ship, on whatever ship you're on, they set up a 4-lane track for babies in the atrium. The atrium fills with people. Everybody comes to this. And they do multiple heats. You can enter your baby.
What's the age?
Basically, they can't walk. If they're not walking, it is a baby race.
Baby crawl.
And if your kid happens to take their first steps
at that moment,
in that they're disqualified. It is a crawl only.
Your
event.
proud moment will be your last moment of
It'll
winning.
be wonderful, and you'll have all kinds of pictures, but you lose.
They throw you overboard.
They'll do like 5 heats of 4. There's always some kid from Alabama who's a ringer who's like.
That's hilarious.
But and what they do is they let the one parent or sibling, a lot of times, will be at the launch area, and then somebody else is at the other end enticing them.
Of course.
Now, sadly, usually the kids that really move are the ones where the person who's enticing them is holding up a phone, right? Like, come
really?
Yeah, it's sad.
Ooh, that's bad.
Bad sign, but works like a charm, man. There you go. So I've been talking to them, and I'm like, well, I think the ideal time is 7 months, because that's when they're going to be really crawling.
And they got power.
And so I've already built a test track.
Sure.
We're starting. So I've been joking
You're
around.
You're gonna have sponsors on your baby's onesie, like STP.
Pennzoil,
DuPont.
We're ready to go, man. And I'm teasing him. So I've been teasing him. I'm like, we're training. We start training.
That's
in June.
funny.
We start training in June. We're gonna try to peak at the end of November, and we'll be on one. Like we were literally looking to book one today.
So good.
So of course I start getting pushed Disney stuff in my news feed. Of course. They push a commercial. I've never seen this commercial before. And if you've ever been on a cruise, they do towel animals.
Yes.
On your bed.
Absolutely. You go in every time there's a new animal. Yep.
So this particular video is they show a Disney cruise cabin, and there's a towel puppy on the bed who looks lonely. And then the steward comes in and takes him, and he does like a thing around the ship, and but the puppy's kind of lonely. And the whole point is he's waiting for his family to show up, the family who's going to be in his room. And at the end, they show a shot from behind the towel puppy, and you see his little towel tail wagging.
Oh, wow.
And the door opens, and a little girl and a family come through the door.
There you go.
And at that point, in watching the commercial, Kelly and I both burst into tears like a baby that's been hit with a hammer. Like we're just...
Oh, my God. You guys are not going to make it.
She's crying. I'm like, you have to watch this. Oh, she's crying. And then I'm like, why are you crying? Because she looks like more like a sad cry. This is for me is a happy cry.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, well, I'm like, use your words. Try to explain to me. Because in my head, it is I'm crying. But it was like it's a habit. It's like we're gonna get to do this.
I'm gonna have that.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to do this for our daughter. Right. So I sent a text message to her cousin. I sent a link to it, and I told him like Kelly and I just started crying immediately when we watched this. We were crying, but it's funny. But yeah, you get excited with.
So we're already in training for this race.
Oh yeah, yep, without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
What
did they win?
I think
just the power of my.
I think the one
baby's better.
I think the winner of all. So they'll do like 4 heats and then a finals, and then the winner of the final wins. I think like a Jack trophy, and then the others get like. I think at the very least you get a Jack bib.
All right,
or something. But, hey, Disney stuff. That bib is probably $35.
I know, really. The thing that really got me down on this, the whole thing. I mean, the crying obviously is going to happen.
Yep.
Is the when you said that the main thing that the parent or the other end was holding up was a cell phone or a iPhone or smartphone?
Yeah.
Because in my mind I was thinking food.
No,
honestly, that's where I went to like
a
ice cream or something. But then I'm like, okay, maybe that's not.
I've seen a lot of these because every cruise we go on, there's one, and we never miss it, right? And honestly, number one enticement, tablet or phone.
And these babies are crawling, and they know that.
Yeah. Number 2, they're
crawling
under a year old, sad. So there's that. Number 2, enticement, which I think is nice, is the older sibling.
Oh,
like when it's like a 4 or 5 year old, older sister, older brother, those do real well. Then moms or dads.
Gotcha. The phone.
But the phone. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That will not be the case.
No,
because we will already have worked out hand signals.
Yeah, you're going to have like.
I'll be like. She'll be like, that's going to be it.
You're going to have an upside down tricycle making ice cream.
I'm literally I'm looking at a picture of the track. Like I have all these pictures from these various events. I'm like, how can I figure out exactly how long that thing is?
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have to set it up.
That's funny. Well, good.
We're looking forward to it.
I guess we got things to work on now. We have a team to put together, a baby championship team.
Yep. I actually sent that to her to Kelly's cousin. I'm like, we're in training, and then I sent him a meme of Mickey. You're gonna crap lightning and what is it? You're gonna spit lightning and crap thunder or eat lightning. Yeah, you're gonna eat lightning and crap thunder.
Shit thunder.
Call me Mick. But no, yeah, it's it'll be fun. Looking at all this stuff, I say to Kelly, like, how do they do pictures, the characters? Because that's what you do. Like every night after dinner, how do you do it with infants? And Kelly's like, I already looked. There's a Disney Dad Cruise Blind blog that you can look at. She's like, start doing your research now.
That's so
like,
funny.
Okay.
So okay, can I, now that I have you.
Sure.
Because I've always wanted to ask someone, and you just answered the question about what you guys do. You guys enjoy Disney without children. Why? Why?
I'm happy to tell you.
Okay.
And I would like anyone who works for marketing in Disney right now to press record and remember my name, Frank Sirio. I'm
55.
Brewerton, New York. Reach out. And I'm saying this knowing you, and you know this, I have been turned away on embarkation of a Disney cruise because I had COVID,
right?
And I still love them,
right?
No, I've been on other cruise lines, so I've been on Princess, I've been on Royal Caribbean, I've been on Carnival, I think one time.
Okay,
I needed a.
So you know what you're talking about. You've seen others.
Yeah, I've seen others, and I have to say, and I think this is generally accepted in the travel community. Mm-hmm. Disney and Celebrity are kind of the gold standard of all the cruise lines. Disney, the big difference between Disney and all others is there's no casino on a Disney ship. Almost all other cruise lines have a casino.
Sure.
Right? Because there's no casino, there's more entertainment stuff.
Gotcha.
They also do a dedicated floor. Like, honestly, as I'm saying this, it's kind of funny because for the first time, we will take advantage of, there's a whole deck on the ship that's dedicated to kid stuff.
Sure.
There's a nursery, like literally you hand them the baby, they give you a pager and you go do whatever you want, right? They take care of it. So they do all kinds of stuff. But honestly, it's the service is, I think, unparalleled. So
your quality is what you're looking at.
The service is fantastic. The staterooms are larger than the average stateroom and very well thought out, very well organized. So service is great. Stateroom is better. The food is fantastic. and like a very, very high level. My sister-in-law, Kelly's brother's wife, Gabe, she's one of the few people, like her and my brother are probably the only people I know that have been on more cruises than I have. And she says the same. She loves celebrity. She's been on a bunch of celebrity cruises. She calls it a tie. I think she says, I think she edges celebrity ahead for food quality. Now, I've never been on a celebrity cruise. My brother swears by celebrity.
Okay.
And I think they're a great cruise line too, and all the reviews kind of reflect that. So there's all that stuff. So generally, it's a great experience. Also, when you think a Disney cruise, I think a lot of people, especially single people, think it's all you can imagine is screaming children.
That's why I started this whole conversation.
Yep. No, not at all. So
and a big eared mouse.
The whole ship is laid out so that there are areas for families, areas for kids, and areas that are adults only.
Gotcha.
So there's usually the whole aft section of the ship is where the spa is. No children allowed.
Gotcha.
There's a pool. So there's 3 pools, right? There's the kiddie pool, the family pool, and the adults only pool. There's whole sections, so you can get away, and if you want to be away from the kids. But for me, being kind of a ridiculous, hokey mess, the thing that I love seeing the kids, because you don't just see kids and families, you see multi-generational families. You see kids with their parents, with grandparents, big groups, and it's like built for that.
Okay.
And the entertainment, if you like Disney stuff, the entertainment's really good. They have the themed restaurants. This could be a commercial.
I was just gonna say we just went to a Disney theme.
I could do 30 minutes on the dining experience. It's absolutely nuts.
So the thing that I was caught up in always was exactly what you just said. When the first thing I thought of when I hear Disney was children.
Yeah.
Why in the hell am I going to go into a cruise with all these kids running around?
You would.
And again, I'm not a huge Disney person.
Right. Yep.
So to me, it's like, I understand if I wanted quality and I loved Disney. I'm like, oh, my God, that's the perfect place.
Yeah.
Let me look into it. But not really being a Disney kid at all ever and an adult. It's like the last thing I think of. But it does make sense with the quality of food and rooms and all that stuff.
Even if you're not super into the Disney stuff, the quality, like every night there's a Broadway style show in the theater. It's always Disney themed.
Yeah.
So if you're like a Disney, oh God, I can't stand it, you're not gonna be happy.
Right.
But I'd say if you are neutral or more in a Disney, and remember too, now it's all Marvel and Star Wars too.
Right.
So all those people, they have Marvel themed restaurants, Disney.
So you got everything going on. Now you got
there's all kinds of IP. They're playing all the movies all through the cruise. They're playing all the Star Wars movies, all the Marvel movies. Cruise. You should come. We would have such a good time.
I am going on the cruise. It's not Disney. I have not been on a Royal Caribbean. I heard that's all right?
They were okay. I liked Royal Caribbean. Princess was okay too. The thing I didn't like is, and this is one of the things again that I think is a strength for Disney, the dining. And a lot of ships now have different dining experiences.
Right.
But it used to be like mostly one main dining room. That's where you have dinner.
Yes.
But the big thing when the last time I did a Princess cruise was anytime dining.
I've heard of that.
Right?
Yep.
And it sounds like a great idea because you don't always, I don't want to go to dinner at 8 o'clock every
6
night.
6 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
And it's always like 2 seatings otherwise. Yep. It sounds like a great idea. But you know what? This is what you find out. Anytime dining is the same 2 times for everyone. Right? So instead of knowing you're going to show up at 8 o'clock and have your same table, you show up and there's a line because everybody wanted to eat at 5:45.
Gotcha.
Right? Or whenever it is. So it sucked. The other thing was not good about it was because of that system, the servers and all the wait staff were on tip pooling. So you would never see the same people twice. And they had zero incentive to really go above and beyond because they will never see you again. And they're going to get a percentage of...
So it's never over the top like you normal, where they just take care of you. Like
now, with Disney, you're on rotational dining. So they have 3 or 4 dining experiences that you rotate through, but you're always at the same time. but you're always at the same table in a different restaurant. So if you're table 152, you're 152, and your servers go with you.
Oh.
So you have the same servers, the whole cruise.
Nice experience.
By the second night, they know I want my scotch. They know, like, they're like, everything's there. They know what you want. Right. They know, and you get great, very, very, very good service.
Well, there you go, guys. That's our segment of Disney.
Yep, you're welcome, Mr. Eisner.
And they race babies, so that's
and there's the baby race.
The baby race. I mean, that's how it all
among other things. The other thing that's super cute is they have a thing called the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
Of course, they do.
Where the little girls get all dressed up, and then this is another thing for people who want the experience of pictures with their kids with the characters.
Sure.
If you go to the parks, that's very hard to do.
Yes.
You're waiting in lines, you're doing all that stuff. On the ship, after dinner and between the dinner seatings, every night there's a different set of characters, always in a different outfit, and you just line up and get all the pictures you want with you can get a picture of your kid with every character over the course of a cruise.
Okay, that makes sense. I've always wanted to ask these people, why are you Disney people? You have no kids, or your kids are not grown. Yep. And I can understand when they're grown because, oh my God, we did this when they were little, and memories. But like in your case, you guys had no kids, but I know how much you love Disney.
Yeah.
But now it makes sense of the quality that you're going to get compared to other cruises. And so that's a cool thing.
The only downside is how much it costs.
That's what I was going to say. Unfortunately, or whatever, the price is going to be obviously a little higher because you're going to get all those good qualities in cruising.
It's not cheap, and it was always more expensive. The thing that really was a big, like the cruise that we went on last May we went on an Alaskan cruise. With the inflation that we've had and all that stuff, their prices stayed pretty stable.
Yeah.
By the time we were back from that cruise, I looked at the next year, identical cruise on the same ship, out of the same port to the same ports on this everything same date. 1 year later, 30% more.
Ooh, that's a chunk.
It's a lot more. Yeah. The 7-night cruise that used to be like $3,600 maybe for two is now in the mid fives. Wow. And it just went from there to there, just like boop. It's another $2,000. So
for our listeners, if you put in Gray Hair Daycare in the podcast in the discount code, you'll get 0% off.
Put in GHTC and you'll get a error. Yeah, you'll
get a stuffed animal towel delivered to your home.
The dog will stop wagging.
You never know.
Yeah, no, you never.
Disney could call us and go, "You guys are spot on." And the way
that would be fantastic.
Sells it.
I should say, now that I just complained about the price, it's worth every penny.
Of course. Well, you keep going. So
please, yep.
There it is. So that's cool. It would be nice to be sponsored by something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice?
Well, nice podcast right on the.
I'd be happy with an annual pass for the parks.
Oh,
just give me that.
Right, that's true.
That would be it.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat. So I can see a lot of this in the future.
Oh yeah, we'll be out
now that you have a baby.
Yeah, now that we have a reason.
Have a reason.
Now that it's not creepy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It'll be it's good. We're looking forward to it.
Well, I'm sure we'll probably be on a cruise together. Oh, I'm sure
that would be so much fun.
Honestly,
the first time we ever had gone with anybody when we did this Alaskan cruise, we went with Kelly's brother and his wife.
Okay,
and it was fantastic. We had a great time. It was nice to have. It was nice to have somebody. We weren't always together all day.
Oh, yeah.
But we would go to the shows together and we would have dinner together. I always
say, when you go, and I think you feel the same way, I love going to vacations with a group of persons, with a couple, another couple, maybe 3 couple, whatever it is. And I always want to make sure everybody knows, no one's going to get offended if we're not spending every second together. Everybody has to be okay with, like, we're not ignoring you. You're good. You understand, like, when we want to go, we're going to have dinner. You know, me and my wife, we're going to have by ourselves on a Tuesday.
Without a doubt.
And everybody's like, oh, absolutely. And I'm so glad everybody that we go with feel the same way. Mostly it's my family.
I think if it's a first time, there should be a contract. There should be you are not allowed to be offended if.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
I don't hate you if we don't have breakfast every morning together.
This is not a personal condemnation.
Right.
Yeah. Because otherwise, it's too hard. Especially as the group gets bigger, it's like herding cats.
Yeah, no, it's
not
tough,
everybody doesn't want to go at the same pace. Everybody doesn't want to that can be hard. And we'll talk a little bit about that because we were just on vacation.
Oh yeah, I remember, and maybe you'll get into I remember going to every year we would go to the shore. And I always say that in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Yep.
And every year it either got real big.
Yep.
Or sometimes you go and it's like only 2 families, right?
Yeah.
So I remember the first time when it really got big. We're talking aunts, uncles, cousins, second generation. Everybody was there that year.
That's nice.
Right? So it was really nice. And I remember, and this is my own mother, I remember when my wife and I would be like, hey, we noticed that you guys go to the boardwalk when it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock chaos.
Right.
We have children in strollers.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
We don't want to do that.
That doesn't make sense to the children.
Sure.
So while you guys are eating dinner, that's when we're going to go up there. And my mother would be like, we're all together.
Right.
We can't split. What are they going to say? What are the people going to say if you are not eating dinner? They're going to
think
they're going to think we're mad, and you're. And I'm like,
it's vacation.
Yeah, it's vacation. And
calm down.
And I remember that being like, in my wife, she's not in the. She's like, what are you talking about? We're just gonna go.
Yeah.
Why are we offending your mother?
Yeah, we still love you.
Yeah. So I'm glad now that the people that we do go with, you have to have that.
Yeah,
contract.
I think
you have to have it.
Once you have
talk,
once you've done it and it works, then you're okay.
Yeah,
then everybody kind of gets into that rhythm.
Yeah, like if we went, it wouldn't be a talked about. It'd be
we're like, okay.
We'll
see you there.
Whenever you're like, oh, Car, Tuesday, me and Kelly are gonna do this. Cool.
Yep.
Call us when you're done, or
we would
see you tomorrow.
We would have a great time.
Oh, no,
if you
absolutely.
came, we would have fun.
No, I'm sure this is gonna be something happening.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So now that we've meandered around for a little while, we will get into our first segment, the Silver Fox Mailbox. So,
all right, let's get it.
So this time, our communication came through TikTok.
Oh, nice.
Now, since our last episode, people were teetering on the brink with the potential of TikTok being shut down, and then Trump swooped in with an executive order, and I think it's still not settled.
It's a temporary?
There's a temporary thing.
Hold or something.
And with the idea that they will find some way to basically secure ownership to somebody other than the Communist Party in China.
China.
We'll see how that's right, China. So there we're out.
So we got this on TikTok. Okay.
So TikTok, in response to one of our little reels that we put out, Joanna Halpern commented. We were talking about the baby helmets.
Oh yeah, the shaping of the head.
Shape. Yeah. So she commented that those helmets are custom made. I felt like I may have offended her because it was like,
oh God.
And I hope I didn't. If you're listening, she just said those helmets are custom made and they're very expensive. So I did a little research, and they are in fact. I didn't think this qualified as I was wrong.
Right, because we
could have a new segment called "I was dismissive" or disrespectful.
Care more about things,
but I don't. Yeah, try to care more. But so it is called cranial orthosis.
Of course,
they do it till they're about 3 months old.
All right.
It is not at all painful for the kid.
Sure,
but yeah, it's like it can be a thing.
My question is, and of course you everything's follow the money.
Yeah.
But why is it expensive? Why is it expensive?
Yeah.
Because it's insured. Like people get insured money. I mean, why is it? It's a helmet. I mean,
it should. Well, I think because it is like
custom.
I think it is.
But
they are custom.
Okay.
Well, yeah. If your kid needs a helmet,
you're gonna pay
that. Well, and it's also. Well, first of all, I think from an emotional standpoint, if somebody says, well, your kid could look like a sideshow or for $800, you can fix it.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be like, here's my money.
Right.
But also, like when you think about it, if your kid needs it, chances are his head is a shape that they need him to have a custom thing for.
Right.
So, I think it is one of those things that you wonder, and I don't know if it's covered by insurance or not. Or how that would work. I bet you anything it's an elective thing, and that everybody who they present it to. Can you picture being the dad that'd be like, nah, God. I'll just, that would be my father. He's like, I'll make a helmet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would be wearing a Buffalo Bills helmet for sleep with this.
I remember watching my father. He had dentures for years and years, and he had lost a tooth. And it had fallen out of his upper plate.
Right.
And I come downstairs one morning and he's just gluing it back in with super glue.
Oh my God.
He's like, I'm not going back to the dentist. You just
That's
put it right back
hilarious.
together. Yeah. So yeah, I would have had a DIY helmet and be like, what's that?
It's so funny. Now you mentioned that. Every time I look at my father, there's one less tooth in his mouth. What are you doing with these things? Where are these chiclets going? I mean, I'm looking at him like, and he never mentions it. And they talk to you like nothing's wrong with their mouth.
Yeah.
Like, do you not know you have 3 missing teeth?
This is what they were. I mean, they were old enough where they didn't have any fluoride in the water in Italy.
Fluoride.
But with
no
my
dentist.
dad, now this was before I was born, but I think my sister is the one. My sister Lucille told me this story. I know it's true. My dad had for years had trouble with his teeth, and finally he just got sick of it, and he went to a dentist and said, pull out my teeth, pull them all out.
I heard that story more than I think it's that generation.
And give me dentures.
Yeah, just fake them.
And the doctor's like, I can't just pull them all out. He's like, well, how many can you pull?
Oh my God.
He had him pull out all of his top teeth at once. While he was at work, he was distributing.
Stop.
He just went from work and came home one day from work, and he jokingly came through the door like a boxer, like he got his teeth knocked out, and he had pulled all of his stuff, and then he went back like a couple days later, all the rest, and then took the mold. He had no teeth for weeks.
Yeah,
because they had to let the swelling go down so that he could then have the molds made.
How funny is that?
Who does that?
Take them out, Doc.
Yeah, just pull all of them. Here, I'll pay cash.
It is amazing. I say this as a joke, but it's so true. Like, I couldn't imagine my father signing up to go to Planet Fitness because the tanning is free.
No.
When he was 56.
Yeah, no, not
And
gonna work.
I say it without even shame.
Yeah. No, very
Oh,
different.
yeah. Oh, you guys throw in the tanning. Oh, that's great. Because then I can just cancel my other tanning company.
Yep. No. Can you imagine?
Could you imagine our parents?
Nope.
My father would be like, hey, what are you paying for? What are you doing?
Yeah, what exactly? No.
So
I got a free tanning machine. It's the sun.
Yeah, it's go work outside.
Yep, go outside. Take your shirt off.
Cut the lawn. Work in the garden.
Yep.
And I sit there sometimes and I go,
be tan.
what happened to us? What happened to us?
It is very different.
I mean, woo.
Yeah.
Wow. the thought, the vein, like you're going from pull my teeth, Doc, and I'm like, can I get a little tanner? And I want some highlights in my hair.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
I can't go gray, God. No, God forbid.
Yeah. No, that would be bad.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So
we're different than them, and the kids are even more.
So
different.
the helmets. We knew they were obviously important.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think
who
we
knows?
joked around.
I might be.
I think I said I needed one.
I could be buying one. I could be buying one.
Yeah, you never know.
In a little while, you never know.
Because I know we were talking about sleeping on the head and the flap. I have that. I know.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely have it. Absolutely have it. I can feel it.
Funny.
I can't go bald. I cannot. I'm gonna have to have a patch of hair. Even if I lose any more hair, I have to have a circular.
Well,
patch
if it is that
back.
flat, you could just like cut a piece of carpet right there. It'll be nice and easy to fix.
So I wish I did have that helmet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it is too late. But
1968 in Sicily, I don't think they had helmets.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
If they did, it was for another reason.
Yeah. Okay.
But
thank you for bringing that up.
So Joanna Helper, and thank you for that. And then we did have also a comment because there was one video that we were talking about the fact that I worked at Friendly's, and that's kind of how I met you. And one of our listeners, Lori, exclaimed that she also worked at Friendly's.
Not the Lori.
Yeah, Lori.
Our Lori?
Phil's Lori.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I remembered that afterwards. Yeah. She worked. I think she worked at the one. Yeah, she listens.
Oh, cool. Hi, Lori.
Yeah. I think she worked at the one on James Street, right?
I think James Street. Yeah.
Right? Or was it James? Yeah.
Yeah, James Street.
I think so.
Either way,
you could sell us. We were wrong if that wasn't the one. I was in the one in Mattydale.
That's the one I went to. That's the only one
The one in
really
Mattydale?
Yeah, across the street from Kmart.
Yep. That's right. Because you were working at Kmart.
I worked at Kmart.
Yeah, that's right. So that was it. So that was Silver Fox Mailbox. Any interesting stories or comments?
We love doing that.
We do. Now we're going to do one we have not done in 4 weeks.
Ooh.
We're going to move on to Check Please. So,
right.
It's been 4 weeks.
Let's get our math on.
And we were at $1,401.95. So $1,400. $1,400 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks.
And if you want to ask for clues, you can. I love the guess.
Sure, yeah, we will go.
So where do you think we are?
So a month ago, 1,400.
A month ago, 1,400.
Any purchases on furniture yet for the baby or the room?
Yeah, that's what you always go there first.
Because it's expensive.
Yes.
Any paints of the room bought?
No.
No paint, because paint could be expensive. Clothing for the baby.
We've been accumulating a lot of that through shower and gift stuff.
So gifts, not more.
But nothing on the. I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a freebie.
Okay.
And say it is only furniture.
That was going to be my next question. Is it only furniture? Okay. So
I'm going to give you another clue.
Oh my God.
It's only one item of furniture. One item.
Is this furniture custom made?
It is not.
Because we realize custom made stuff are a little more expensive than just going to the store and purchasing.
I could have called Phil and had him make something beautiful.
I'm going to say, because you've been talking about this really expensive stroller thing. I don't know if that's furniture or would that be that'll be my last question. Would that be furniture?
What?
That expensive stroller baby you've been talking about.
A stroller would not be.
Okay, so it's not that. So it's going to be a sleeping thing. I'm going to say the new total, because I always I'm very underwhelming.
You have missed a couple of times, and you're usually under.
Very under. So I'm going to go over. I'm going to say right now, I'm just going to say it. I'm going $1,000 more. I'm going to go $2,400.
$2,400. So if we were playing Price is Right rules, you would not be. You would not be over.
Okay.
But you are under $3,077.17. So let me explain.
Well, so 3,000.
No, not another 3,000 total. So we went up about $1,660.
So we're over 3,000.
So here's where we are.
Explain yourself.
The thing you were talking about was not a stroller, but I've been talking about a bassinet.
Bassinet. That's what it was.
Called the Snoo.
That's what it was. Okay.
Apparently, so the Snoo, very fancy bassinet. The very fancy bassinet had some availability issues.
Of course it did.
So, of course, there is a even more expensive thing called a Cradlewise. So the Cradlewise.
So that's a step higher than the Snoo?
Yes. Now, there are some things that made me feel a little better. So the Snoo is a bassinet and is supposedly only viable for 6 months.
Okay.
The Cradlewise is a bassinet that transforms into a cradle. Basically, you can use it for up to 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So you get 2 years use out of it, but it's another $400 on top of it. But the Cradlewise is a modern wonder of technology. This thing is amazing.
What does it do?
So it does all kinds of fun things. So that's what made it was the Cradlewise.
Okay.
That's what made the jump. But good job. You went heavy. You just didn't go heavy enough.
I thought $1,000.
And no, thinking I kind of threw you off with. I should have said one item makes you immediately think, okay, one big item.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot. But no.
Item.
So, but we'll talk more about the Cradlewise on our next segment, which will be what just happened. So, all right, the change. So here is the change from the Snoo to the Cradlewise. The big first thing is, and this decision was made in the last week.
Sure.
There was availability issues with the Snoo. We start looking at other options. So the Cradlewise you get to use until 24 months. So you get a little bit more use out of it.
Gotcha.
Second thing is it has a built-in baby monitor, video baby monitor.
Oh, good.
Okay. Now, this is the way this thing works, which I think is fascinating. It watches the baby and listens to the baby.
Okay.
As the baby starts to stir.
Okay. The sauce.
If the baby wakes up in the middle of the night, before they even cry, the Cradlewise monitor sees the movement and starts rocking the baby back to sleep.
Oh,
now,
boy.
instead of a rocking motion back and forth, it uses a up and down motion, much more like a parent that is kind of bouncing up and down as they walk around. Wow. Does that. Now, the snoo, once the baby cries, it does that. This thing cuts
before the cry.
Before it even starts to cry, the little bouncy bounce, get them back to sleep. Now, the snoo does that until it times out. So it has a timer. So once it starts, it just does it for a certain amount of time. Kid keeps crying, it just goes on. The Cradlewise watches and analyzes. As soon as the kid starts to settle down, it stops.
This is scary.
It not only does that, so it shuts off when they say, then it also, because it's watching the baby the whole time, there is an app on your phone. You can see the baby from anywhere in the world. You go online, and there it is. You can see the baby monitor, the camera, and it gives you sleep analytics, tells you how much sleep the baby's getting.
Wow.
Like, it's incredible. Like, it really is it's incredible, the stuff it does. So
just to let you viewers and listeners know, Frank loves technology.
I do.
Loves China. He loves technology. So this is right up here. I mean, this is.
No, if I had known about this before we ran into the trouble with the snoo, I probably would have been like, yeah, let's just get that. Like, it's definitely cool enough.
Right.
And again, I do look at it as, if it's getting us more sleep and keeping the baby happy and sleeping.
So the bassinet turns into a
crib.
A small
crib.
I was going to say it's going to look like a crib. So it looks like a crib.
It looks like a cradle. So it goes like from a bassinet to a cradle.
I guess I'm not picturing a cradle. How a cradle look like a small crib.
The cradle is like a small crib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you have the size of the crib. That's what I guess.
Yes.
Where you put the one down so you can kneel over and pick up the baby.
It looks like that.
It still would do that.
Yeah. It's like a blonde mahogany look wood.
Okay. So you're going to save money eventually.
Or at least we'll sleep more. Like, that's it. True. But it would have. It eliminates kind of a step.
Right. I mean, like I'm saying,
another piece of furniture that you would end up buying. Yeah, absolutely. So that was a decision that we made.
I can't believe, because my wife and I were talking about the diaper genie.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, that was at least 18 years ago from Nick.
Yeah.
It has to be better. And I do remember she mentioned that. I do remember even at the time of back then, which was great, you could still sense a little smell area.
Sure.
Right? So it has to be better. It has to be.
This is one of those things that really, when we do whatever, if we do concoct a test, you're the one who's going to have to test it, because as we have talked about a couple times, I think I have zero sense
your
of
smell.
smell.
Is horrible.
I have no sense of smell. But yeah, so I would think the technology has come along, but like with this thing, it's amazing. Like, the technology is super cool.
I mean, we were talking about last week, I think it was last week, the AI.
Yeah.
I mean, now that's going to be into everything.
Who knows what that'll do?
Right.
Yeah,
oh
how
my
that'll
God.
work.
I mean, you're not even going to need parents. The crib is going to
it'll be like,
wash you. It's going to change your diaper.
Google's just going to tell you to leave. Like, we got the kid. Just go away.
It's so funny. But that's going to be something that's going to be neat to check out. I loved it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. The bed moves.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what it is. That's what it is, because I remember, not me, but my cousin had a child that you could do anything and it didn't work unless you got in a car
and drove around. Yep.
That's
Isn't that funny?
I mean, it was like they tried. The last resort would be like, oh my God, I don't want to get in the car. It's winter. So they would try everything, and
nothing
still
worked.
They were like, get in the car.
Isn't that funny?
And they have to drive around.
I think that is one thing that is not going to work.
Yeah.
Because the couple times we've taken longer drives, it's been, I don't think that's going to work, because literally little Josie she likes.
Oh God. So you're done.
So the car's not going to work.
Yeah,
so let's hope the Cradlewise does what it's
cool though. That's cool.
Yeah.
When I did not even expect that, putting the baby back to bed, because that's the whole thing is when they wake up, because they will wake up and it's like, okay, how fast can you get them back to that movement?
That's it.
And that knowing it, before it starts crying.
And it has a bunch, and I know I'm probably not doing it justice because it also has all kinds
shower,
of yeah, that's
dryer,
a little hair dryer. It has all kinds of things you can set up whole routines to get the baby to sleep initially.
Gotcha.
Not just to keep them asleep, but to get them to sleep. So yeah, so it should be good. We'll probably do a whole episode.
Oh, I'm sure.
Figuring out the Cradlewise.
I remember the whole thing when they said, so there's 2 teams in this, and the best team would be like let the baby cry. But when they said,
oh yeah,
you gotta they gotta learn how to fall asleep,
self-soothe. Yes,
and that's the worst part because you're hearing your baby crying, and generally they're a little bit older. And and it's gonna rip, but you can't. You can't go. You got to let them cry it out and put them to sleep. Yep. But it's going to be. It used to tear me up because with Nick, I was more of a stay-at-home dad.
Yep.
So it killed me hearing it. But I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. It's
got to be hard.
It'll ruin you.
It's got to be. I'm sure it'll be very hard. And it's interesting. It is. I look at a lot of this stuff, and there's all this. I honestly think is crap online about gentle parenting. Mm-hmm. And when you listen to the people who are advocates of gentle parenting, they basically, their argument is the whole idea of self-soothing is basically teaching your child pre-verbally that when they need help, there's no help coming. Yeah. That it's basically like, this is basically how, if you want to create a sociopath, do that. Right? It's absolutely insane. How crazy they are about it. Yeah, I imagine.
But teach them, all you have to do is just complain and someone's going to come running to you.
Or you could teach them that I'm always going to run and
I'm going to always help you out.
If you fart too loud, I'm going to be right there.
Let me tell you, it's tough. It's tough to hear your child crying, but that moment that they figured it out, this makes sense. Because they're going to get tired. They're tiring themselves out.
Yep.
Then they go lay down and they fall asleep. So, but we'll get back to that.
Yes, we will.
See how you feel.
But so the rest of what just happened, so we kind of made that determination while we were traveling. So we had talked about we were going on vacation.
Yeah.
So we left. We were going to West Palm Beach.
Uh-huh.
We had a flight. We had to fly through JFK, and we had kind of a fairly early, not crazy early flight. And we get there, and this is how it starts. We get there, we have one big bag, one little bag. We're checking both bags.
Okay.
The big bag, I was a little worried. It felt a little heavy. Put up on the scale.
73 pounds.
54 pounds.
Oh, I hate that.
4 pounds over.
Sure.
And the woman looks at us and goes, that's an additional $150.
4 pounds.
Now, I'm thinking, okay, we could just open the thing up in the middle of the airport and pull things out and shove it into the other bag. Because the other bag, there's no way it's 50 pounds.
Oh, so you had 2 bags checking in.
We had 2 bags. One's 54. And I'm like, no, okay, fine. Here, give her the credit card. $150. Then I put mine up. And my bag that I paid the same amount as that, it was like $40 for each. But then another $150 because it's 4 pounds over. And I put my bag up and it's 24 pounds.
Oh, God.
And I look at the woman. I'm like, so you owe me like $1,200? Like, what is, and she just looks at me. I'm like, okay. But yeah, so combined weight, 78 pounds. I would be allowed 100.
Sure.
But because one of them is 54, I had to pay an additional $150. That's the kickoff of my travel. But anyway, go ahead. Give me your...
Why? I know you.
Yes. Why didn't I...
Why didn't you stop and go, 1 second, please?
Right. Because...
Let me take these shoes or whatever you have and pop them in here. Because I've seen many people do this. Yeah. I've done this.
Yeah. Because...
You just didn't want to deal with it.
I just didn't want to deal with it. And I was just like, whatever.
Second question. Okay. Don't you weigh these things at home?
No. I've never had an overweight bag. I usually can ballpark it.
We weigh all of our stuff.
Yeah. Next time probably will.
Okay, calm.
And I did better on the way back. Good. I'll say that. But so we do that.
So that started off with a shitty.
It starts off there. I'm like, okay. We get our stuff. We go through security. We get to our gate, and we're who cares? Then they get on. They come on the announcement. There's going to be a delay, but we should be no more than 30, 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I see a guy in a uniform. Looks like he's maybe he's a pilot. So. And I'm listening to him, and I'm getting the impression that somebody didn't charge, like the batteries on the plane are dead.
Okay.
Overnight. Now, so this plane came in from, I think, Chicago the night before and has been sitting there overnight. And it's super cold.
Yeah, it's freezing right now.
Weather's been cold. So that's it. The battery's charging. And then they delay it again. And then they delay it again. And then I strike up a conversation with this guy. And this guy happens to be the co-pilot.
Okay.
And he's also the co-pilot on our next flight from JFK to Palm Beach.
So you're connecting. He's still going to be there.
Yeah, and he's going to miss that flight if he doesn't get there.
Oh, of course.
And so I'm like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, well, yeah, I think just sit tight. And, so really nice guy. But then finally they delay it again. And he says, you know what? I'm going to go try and get on a flight on Delta and get to JFK. I don't know if you want to do that or not, but you might want to consider it. And I'm just like, you know what? I looked at Kelly and we'll just hang out. Like,
Is this morning still here?
Yeah. It was like, I think our flight was supposed to be at like 9. And by this time it's like approaching 10:30.
Okay.
So it's been a while. It's been delayed a few times. Not great. Then apparently the battery, the second battery won't charge. Flight's canceled.
Ooh.
Everybody gets up.
Ooh.
And lines up to rebook. I'm like, okay. So Kelly's there. I'm like, go find a seat. And I get in line and I call the airline rather than just be in line because everybody just like, I'm like 30th in line.
Right. Yeah.
And before we even lined up and when they were just getting delayed, in my peripheral vision, I see this girl. There was a poster child for a broken idiot millennial, it's her. Okay. And she's having a conversation, panicked, on the phone with some poor parent or guardian or who knows about how they're delaying it again and they're going to cancel it. I just know when this is horrible. I don't know.
Yeah, her whole life's going to end.
Yeah. I end up in line behind this girl.
Of course.
It's fantastic. So, and to give a picture, I would guess she's between 25 and 30 years old. She's not a kid.
She's not young. Yeah,
no,
she's not.
Between 25 and 30.
She should know better, yeah.
Short, clearly self-cut red hair in short pigtails. One of those Stanley Cup mugs covered in glitter with a flower straw, shiny green reflective shoes. Just like a poster child for millennial nonsense.
Yeah, fill in the
blank.
Yeah.
Literally stomping her feet like a child, yelling in.
She's the baby in the crib that her parents ran in and helped her when she was crying.
Yeah. Yep. Yelling at whoever's on the other end of the phone.
Come fix this.
I can't. I don't want to like just losing her mind. This is hell.
The worst.
Literally, this is hell. And I'm thinking to myself,
no, it's not.
Honey, you have no idea what life has in store for you. You are in a nice, warm airport in Syracuse, New York.
Yeah.
You are not in hell.
No.
And
well, it is Syracuse.
it's close.
It's close, but you're not in hell.
So I'm behind this woman the whole way. Now, I have already rebooked us on the next flight by the time we get to the front of the line. But I kind of am invested now because I want to see what happens to this girl when she gets to the
You're
kid.
in her life now.
I'm like,
she's in yours.
Clearly, I am looking. I'm paying attention. I see on her phone, whoever she's talking to, the name that comes up is like Lord Voldemort. Like, it's not even, I swear to God. It's like it's just crazy nonsense. Just a completely ridiculous human being. So we get up to the front and there's this nice young kid, probably in his early 20s, taking care of one after the other.
He's on a roll.
Nobody's going to New York, right? They're going somewhere else. So he's got to rebook everybody. Absolutely. They're flying to JFK to go somewhere else.
Right.
So, and he's been doing a good job. He's still looking chipper. And then I see him look up and see this girl who is literally like crying.
Yeah, she's a mess.
Losing her mind. He's like, and he was great. He's like, just come on up. We're going to get you taken care of. Don't worry. I'm going to say, let me see your ticket. And he's going. And I can just see his face just dropping. Like,
oh, because he has to tell her something. Oh, this is not going to be pretty.
And he looks up and goes, I can't. there's nothing. I can't. She's trying to get to Chicago. He's like, there's nothing. There's nothing we can do. I don't have anything. There's no way for me to get you to Chicago. And she's now like shaking. And he's like, let me see. Let me look. Let me see if I can find something on another airline. And again, you can just see.
Oh, God.
It's like if his face could have slid off, it would have.
Yeah.
He's fine. He's like, there's nothing. There's no way for me to get you there today. There's even on another airline. Well, what can I Can I at least get a? He's like, absolutely. Let me see. We'll get you a refund. Get your refund. He goes in.
Sorry.
Literally.
Oh, God.
Well, you paid for this flight with a voucher, so I can't give you the refund. And I'm just like, wow. And
there has to be another credit though, right?
He's like, well, basically, she had to go somewhere else
to get this credit.
He's at the gate, and he's like, I can't. So she, to her credit, didn't she wasn't mean to the guy or anything, but just kind of wandered off in a puddle. And she was gone.
That sucks. I mean, I understand. That sucks.
Oh, that's a shitty thing to happen.
It's a shitty thing. Yeah.
But yeah, so not a great travel experience.
Yeah.
But also, come on, you're gonna be okay. So I get up to I'm like, first of all, good job. Like you handled that as well as anyone could possibly handle it. And I only had one question, which was, at this point, I'm like, I already rebooked while we were online.
I just wanted to see how this played out.
I just wanted to watch that happen.
I'm not even going anywhere. I'm here for
I'm like, yeah, this is just what I do for fun.
I come to the bar.
Playing spy at the airport. I didn't do that. So I said, I just want to know what's going on with my bag. Like I've rebooked, and because when I rebooked on the phone, I asked, I'm like, I checked the bag. I'm pretty sure they've been loaded. I don't know what happened. Like, what's going to happen to my bag because you rebooked me? And they said, we don't know. Check with the gate agent. So I'm like, so they told me to ask you. He said, oh, you have to go back downstairs, back down through security, and they will retag your bag.
Right.
And I said, do I need to go get my bag and bring it to the counter again? He's like, I'm not sure. Go down and check at the counter down there. Okay. I said, well, look, I'll go downstairs. I'll take care of it, but my wife's pregnant. She doesn't have to go do this, does she? And he's like, oh, no. Let me give you her boarding pass too. If anybody gives you any hard time, tell them the supervisor up here said, okay, thank you. So I go downstairs, and there's a huge line down there. And the people in front of me in this line are the people that were in front of crazy Pippi Longstocking.
Pippi Longstockings.
And so immediately they turn around and we bond over her insanity.
That's so funny.
And we're kind of talking, laughing about it. But then I hear the girl. Now, for anybody who has never ever been to lovely Syracuse Hancock International Airport, just kind of a big long atrium,
not a huge airport
that echoes.
Sure.
She is now out there, kind of maybe 30 yards away from us, openly heaving, sighing, crying on the phone with somebody, just echoing through the terminal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man. So I'm watching. I try to get there's clearly a supervisor helping these people at the JetBlue counter. Mm-hmm. And I try to get his attention because I'm not confident I'm afraid we're going to wait through this line and somebody's going to say, where's your bag?
Right.
And I asked the people in front of us, and they're like, I think we're supposed to be here, but nobody knows. So I'm like, hey, I came down from just that's the line. The guy clearly not even.
Yeah, he didn't want to hear what you're saying.
Not paying attention to me. So I'm watching. Now I notice a few people ahead of us in line is a guy who was on our flight.
So you can see what he's going to go through.
And he has a bag.
Ooh.
And I'm like, uh-oh. So, and we've been waiting now for.
Was it a carry-on or was it a bigger luggage?
He had luggage.
Okay.
With a tag on.
This is interesting.
So now I'm like, okay, maybe he went and got his bag.
We need to get our baggage.
Maybe we need to do that. So I'm talking to my new friends.
Sure.
I'm like, he's got a bag. Do you think maybe? They're like, we don't know. And I'm like, okay. So now I just walk up front to the counter.
You said, do I need my bag before I sit here?
And I see a girl that I walk up. I'm like, hey, look, we're from the flight to JFK that got canceled. I'm with other people in line. We were told to come down here. Do we go get our bag or not? And they're like, oh, what's your name? They put it into a thing. They're like, oh, I'll take care of it. Okay, no problem. Then the supervisor from upstairs appears from behind the counter.
Jesus.
And I see her, and she's like, don't worry, I'll make sure your bag gets tagged. But now I feel bad because the people who were in front of me in line that weren't bold enough to come up front.
The ones you made friends with, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, well, those people are waiting to come.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing.
And they're like, just have them come up. So I'm like, hey, come on up. And so they're like, oh, thank you so much. They were very happy. So I get them up. They
should have got Pippi Longstocking and see if they can do something. I know they already dealt with her.
Yeah, who knows what they're going to do with her. So anyway, they get their thing taken care of. We go up, and then they gave us vouchers for lunch. I mean, they tried to do what they could, but
that's a rough start.
That was a great. That was not a great start.
Not a great start.
Then we get this blew my mind. Then we get to JFK. Now we got to JFK so late.
We
missed our connecting flight.
Sure.
So now we got to wait until a later one. It's supposed to be at 8:30
p.m.
We were supposed to get to Palm Beach at like 4:30. Sure. Now we're leaving JFK at 8:30.
You just missed the whole day.
We're going to get in at 10:30. Sure. I'm like, okay, look, it is what it is. Yep. We're hanging out, and we're also in JetBlue Terminal 4 and JFK is like the shitty one. There's no lounge. It's the JetBlue terminal. Yeah. There's like a food court.
Yeah.
And so nothing. So we're hanging out. Then I'm watching, and our flight now it gets pushed. It's about we should be boarding at like 8:30. It's 8:00. Now it says, oh no, you're boarding at 9. And I'm like, oh no. Then we're boarding at 9:15. Now it's 5 after 8, and then all of a sudden it changes. We're boarding now.
What?
And I'm like, okay. We get bored. We're in the Group A. We get boarded. We're toward the front of the airplane. Everybody gets boarded. And I can see, because we're up front, we can see the flight attendants are a little agitated. One in particular. And I hear her talking to a gate agent, and she's like, why? Why did they do this? Why would we board these people? And then I'm looking around and thinking, okay, there's no flight crew on this plane. It's the flight attendants, and the door to the cockpit, there's nobody in there.
Wide open.
Nobody. And she's like, why would they board without?
Oh my God.
Why would they board without a crew? They should never board without a crew. And we're listening. I'm trying to pay attention. And apparently the story is the pilot for our plane was on property, and the flight attendant points out the window, 3 gates down is the flight he came in on. So he flew in on that plane, but nobody knows where he is.
He's in the shitter.
So now it's 8:15. We're boarded. It's 8:30, and now it says we're not leaving until 9.
Now you're sitting in a
now
little...
8:45. It says we're not leaving until 9:15, and people are coming up front. And the poor flight attendants are like, you guys know more than us. You're going to get updates from the app.
We don't
know what's going on. And they tell us the whole thing of he's supposedly on property. The gate agent comes down. Don't worry. Shouldn't be more than another 15 minutes, a half hour. Time goes by. Now it's 9. It's 9:30. Oof. We're sitting there. So we've been on the plane for an hour and a half.
Oof. It's
30 degrees outside. The jetway is cold, but now because they can't turn the heating and air conditioning system on in the plane,
it's freezing in there.
Oh no!
Oh,
it's a full flight. Oh. Back of the plane, 93 degrees.
Oh my God!
People start coming up,
sweating,
saying you have to let us up the plane, but they won't let us back into the terminal because they closed the door. They started, so now they say, okay, they start letting people in groups from the back of the plane. Now we were fine. Kelly still had on her winter coat because we're up front and the door to the cold jetway is open. So it was fine for us. But in the back, they're sending people in groups
rotating
to cool down on the jetway and then go back. So they're going from 93 degrees.
To walk that little jet. Yeah. Oh my God.
But they were nice enough to give us plantain chips and water.
Thank God.
You can believe it.
Plantain chips.
So at this point then, an assistant pilot, the co-pilot shows up
teacher comes
and
in.
starts turning shit on. So then but he doesn't, there's no crew until 9:45, and the flight and the pilot gets on at 10 o'clock. We didn't take off until almost 10:30.
Wow.
We were on the plane for over 2 hours.
Wow.
Sitting at the gate.
What happened to the guy that was supposed to be on
And I think this is you. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts about this. I think this is the most bullshit story I've ever heard.
Okay.
Supposedly, the pilot on the other plane said one of the passengers of that plane took his suitcase.
Ooh.
And he went after them to try to get it. Now, I've been on enough flights. Have you ever seen a pilot's suitcase? It's always got like chart maps. It's like a hard shell.
It doesn't look like ours.
It never looks like
Even they usually put it in.
It doesn't even look like a flight attendant's one. Like it's not a Travel Pro or a Toomey.
Yeah,
it's like a big clunky thing. What are the odds that somebody's going to mistake that for theirs and take it?
Yeah.
So I think that was a complete BS story. But regardless of whatever it was, we got boarded at like 8:05 and we didn't take off until 10:30 and we didn't get to Palm Beach. And then that's the other thing. Once I realized, before we even got on the plane, I realized we weren't going to get to Palm Beach until after midnight, and the car rental place closed at midnight.
Oh God.
So I had no idea what we were going to find, but we didn't get to Palm Beach until 2 a.m.
Really?
Yeah. And poor Kelly. I mean, she's 7 months pregnant.
Yeah, you can't.
And she was exhausted, but she was a trooper through the whole thing. And we get there. I just called an Uber, and we got it. Luckily, got our bags, and got in, and we were the place we were staying at was very, very close. So it was like a 10-minute drive, and we were at the VRBO where we stayed. So it was a little.
You lose a whole day. I mean, it's one thing to say, you know what, it's a travel day, but we'll get there at 4 or we'll get there at 3. Yeah. We can enjoy dinner, we can relax, and then you go from that, which is you're already going, it's a half a day. Now the whole day's gone.
Well, for us,
and you've been just sitting around.
And for us, we're old.
Yeah,
we're in bed by 9:30. Right. I can't remember the last time I was in bed earlier on New Year's Eve than 2:30 in the morning. I'm 2:30 in the morning,
roaming around the airport at 2:30 in the morning.
Like a zombie looking for an Uber driver. Are you Omar?
That's tough. Yeah. The travel part about it, and all I could say is to bring it back to what we do. Could you imagine doing that with a child? Because there's people. No. Of course, you're going to Florida. Right, you're going to Florida. There's going to be kids.
There were people on that flight with little kids. Yeah. And thank goodness there weren't any screamers or any of that stuff. But no, that would be horrible.
So imagine, because that happens all the time.
Yep.
And I can remember going to Florida when our kids were younger. And we've been lucky. We've never went into that situation. But it would be... it just ruins everything.
Yep.
And it feels like there's nothing you can do. There's nothing. Yep. Like honestly, you can't even get off.
This is one of the things that I do think Kelly and I talked about it at length because we had a lot of time.
Sure.
That I was amazed. I was consciously like, I can't believe I am not losing my mind. Yeah, I am much more calm than I used to be, and I attribute it entirely to faith.
Through the whole conversation that you're giving, in my mind, I was thinking, where
Frank
general
snaps.
Manager, owner, CEO Frank? Where is he snapping?
No.
What part of that is coming out? Where is it? I expect it right here.
Yeah.
It didn't come out. So something has obviously changed.
Seriously, it was,
which is good.
I thought, I literally was like, it was. The most direct thing I said to anybody out of the whole thing was when they finally got us in the air, and the girl there was one flight attendant on the flight where we kept getting delayed, that was the only one that was really truly advocating for the people on the plane.
Nice.
She was trying really hard. And when she came finally for a beverage service, I'm like, I just want to tell you, you are a superhero.
Yeah.
I'm like, you did such a good job. And she's like, if I was a superhero, I wouldn't be on this flight. And I was like, she had a good sense of humor. Yeah. But I was astonished that I wasn't losing my mind.
Because that is probably one of the easier places to lose your mind.
Yeah.
When stuff like that happens, because you're already doing something you don't want to do. Weight.
Yeah.
And travel and security.
Yep.
And I paid an extra $150 for 4 pounds. But
Yes.
I mean, the food sucks because I have to.
Yeah.
Is a Subway, or do I eat a crappy $16 slice of pizza?
Yeah.
Or, so everything is, and then you have that, and then you go on, and then like I said, then you have parents with kids. Put that on top of that situation. Then you have, oh my God, my car rental is going to be closed. Oh, I have. It's
not great.
But that's good though that you noticed that you did not go that route, because you're going to need that, because you're going to have a lot more of that with a child.
I was happy that's what it was, but it does. You lose a whole day, and then you wake up. It's not like you're going to then sleep until 10:30 the next day. No. So like for the 2 days, first 2 days we were there, we're catching up on sleep and taking naps.
And you're trying to do as much as you can because you lost.
Yeah, because we lost time. Now my brother, at the same time, he's flying from Nashville. Mm-hmm. Now our stuff was all stupidity. Their stuff there was all that awful weather in the South. Atlanta was shut down, right? He had to fly from Nashville through Atlanta to Palm Beach. He, thinking he was going to get ahead of it, he thought, I'm going to get on an earlier flight to try to get ahead of the weather.
Yeah.
But he lives about 45 minutes, an hour from the airport. So he gets a hotel room at the airport a night before, moves his flight up to the morning, and then proceeds to spend the entire day at the Nashville airport with his wife, waiting to be told, you could try again tomorrow. And then has to go back. He spent 2 nights in a hotel in the city where he lives. And then ended up getting there a day later.
So everybody was kind of...
I felt so bad. My sister and her husband were there. They got ahead of it. They were in D.C. and they saw what was going on with the weather. They got ahead of it. And they also flew... They decided to fly to Fort Lauderdale and drive an hour.
So different thing, yeah.
But so they got but the one fun thing on the flight, they had movies, right? So we're watching movies, and Kelly's watching one of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Sure.
She loves those. I've never watched them. And
I know that redhead that was crying probably watched a lot of that.
She probably, yes. Yeah. She probably has the dialogue memorized. But at one point, I got my headphones in, I'm listening to something, and Kelly, kind of gets my attention, and she has paused the movie, and she's like, see this? And there's a scene there's orcs, and they're kind of like half underground and like moving around.
Oh, I see where this is going.
And she goes, that's just what it feels like. And I said, this is fantastic. And she said, well, why? I'm like, because now I'm literally going to be able to say, Mommy used to call you a little orc. And she's like, you can't say that. I'm like, oh, I'm going to. I'm like, this is it.
Well, that's her middle name.
You're Mommy's little orc.
Oh, God, that's so funny.
So, yeah, I kind of got a kick out of that. But anyway, all's well that ended well. We got there. Very nice place.
Travel is, I'm telling you, I do it for a living. You do it a lot.
Yeah.
It is tough. It's one of my worst parts of my job.
Yeah.
But it's so needed in our jobs that we're always on the road.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, as much as I hate being in a car, you feel like you have some kind of control.
I would rather.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I know, like, I travel all over, and I can't stand it. But the worst thing I can tell you is when you have to travel and then the airport or the airlines or the whatever stops you from moving forward. Mm-hmm. You always think, I should be in a car. At least I know, unless my car blows up, I can continue driving.
My limit is 5 hours. If I can drive it in 5 hours, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I would rather, because realistically, if you fly to New York from here, you're only 45 minutes in the air.
Absolutely.
But checking in, bag, whatever, going through security, all that stuff, you're in for 4 hours anyway. So I would much rather be in the car and be able to be on the phone and productive. But yeah, no, it's
tough. It is. Yeah, it makes the whole process of let's go on vacation. Every time I think of that airport and security, I try to make it as simple as possible. I don't put anything on my carry-on that they could even question. It's like underwear, socks, and 2 outfits, and that's it. I don't even, it's like maybe my, whatever, some Tylenol, whatever thing, and I don't wear a belt. I don't want nothing happening.
Just get through it.
Because I just can't stand it. And then you run into, even if you do the perfect things, you take that hotel, you go the night before, I'm going to beat it, and then you get there and go, hey, guess what? You're going to be here for 2 more days.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter.
There are things that you just absolutely can't. Yeah.
And I always, and to get back to the theory of, to the podcast, we're doing this with kids.
Yeah.
People are doing this with kids. And that's why when you end up seeing these people at the airport and they're just screaming at each other, they probably went through 13 hours before you even saw that father or mother freaking out.
Just getting the kid to the airport.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's definitely...
This has been a travel podcast.
It has been.
From Disney to...
The nice thing was, it was good. We had a good time when we were there. The weather was nice. Palm Beach is very, very pretty.
I'll be there this year.
We went to a very nice steakhouse called the Flagler. Flagler Steakhouse. Do you know who Flagler is?
He was a cowboy that had a beef farm?
No.
Nope.
Flagler's very big in Palm Beach. Flagler was and I don't remember his first name, I didn't know this. I looked it up.
Bill Flagler.
Flagler was the founder of Standard Oil. So he owns a bunch of stuff.
So he was poor.
Yeah, not poor. He was like he owns there's a bunch of things like Flagler Museum, Flagler all over Palm Beach. I think there's even a Flagler College somewhere in Florida.
Wow.
But this place called the Flagler Steakhouse, very nice steakhouse. We went there. It was a great meal. You see a bunch of people in Palm Beach. Obviously, you see like
never been.
There's Ferraris everywhere. I think my brother they went to a shopping area like the Palm Beach version of Rodeo Drive.
Gotcha.
Saw a Bugatti Chiron, like all these just crazy
things you would see every day in like Miami. That's all over Miami. It's like even Naples.
That's that kind of
money
stuff.
Is, yeah.
You see all kinds of people that you think they clearly are rich, but then at one point, Kelly's like, she kind of nudges me. She goes, "That's Kathie Lee Gifford."
What?
And I'm like, really? And I'm trying to look, and there's this woman, and I'm like, it could be. And then she turned in, yeah. So we had a Kathie Lee Gifford sighting.
That's hilarious.
I desperately wanted to run over and say, I loved you on Name That Tune, and make her feel 100 years old. Do you remember?
Name That Tune.
She was on Name That. That was
not even what she's famous for. But you're gonna say Name That Tune.
She was she was the girl who sang all the songs on Name That Tune.
She did. I do.
When
remember
we were
that.
little, that was when we were kids.
Yeah, I don't even. Honestly, I probably didn't remember that until you just said it.
That was
I
her.
knew it at one point because they would always show it. But obviously, Regis and Kelly. Kathie.
Well, and she was she was the one who would do the commercials for the cruise line.
Yep.
Was it Carnival, I think.
She did Carnival, I believe.
Yeah. That was it. But yeah, so she was there, but she did not dine with us.
Is she like almost 80?
She's got to be in her 70s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Her husband was like 95.
Frank Gifford? Yeah.
And she was like 20 years younger.
Yeah, she was a lot younger.
Yeah.
But so we had a little celebrity sighting, and this was... Every time you go to a steakhouse, there's always one guy, at least, that looks like Mr. Howell from the Gilligan's Island. Like they got the ascot. There's always old, really rich guy.
Right.
This place, there were three. I'm like, there's another.
Really?
There's three Howells here. So it was very clearly a very nice.
I love a good steakhouse.
It was a great meal.
Yeah.
It was a great meal. We had a good time, and that was it. And that was the other kind of good news thing with traveling. Even with traveling and eating out a little bit more, Kelly's blood sugar measurements were all good throughout the trip. So that's all gone well. And that's kind of where we're at with what just happened. That was our week.
That's a big travel. I was thinking you were going to have problems with, because you paid that $100 and something more for the bags.
You bring it up. I'm very proud of this. On the way back, so we're packing to come home, and we bought some stuff while we were there.
Of course.
Right? And I'm thinking, okay, they're not getting me again.
No.
So I pack I have a little, it's a carry-on size that I always take with me, but we check it anyway. So this thing looked like it was about to explode. I crammed as much as I could into my bag. I'm like, so this one will be okay. What do you think the weight was on the big bag?
On the 54.
On the 50-pound limit that was 54.
Again, I'm so bad at this. You got it down to 49 pounds.
49.4. I was so proud.
You're so good.
I put it on there I back away, and I was so excited. And Kelly couldn't see the weight. I'm like, guess what it is? She's like, I don't know, 45, 49.
I'm going to tell you.
I was so excited.
I'm going to tell you, because this is like the number one thing in our house. How much does it weigh? How much does it weigh? We'll get the scale. It's always the thing.
Now, do you have a bag scale?
We have a scale. We
you
have
just put it on?
A regular scale on the side, and it's perfect. It's a digital scale.
Okay.
And we put it on there, and maybe we're off by 0.1, 0.5.
That's probably it.
Nothing that's going to do anything, right? But it's every time we go somewhere, get the scale. I don't know, how much is the thing? And it's all of us. I got my kids doing it. Everybody's doing it. So well,
you're getting your money's worth,
right? So I know when we go to the airport, it could be off maybe a half a pound,
but you're confident.
Maybe a pound, and it's never at
you walk
49.
Up,
right?
You walk up,
very confident.
You're good.
Very confident.
That's
so.
funny.
My wife and I, last time we were somewhere, we went up front. And we're always, going on vacation. It starts off very cheerful. Hey, good morning, right? Because you haven't even gone through security yet. No. You haven't gone through anything yet. You still have that beautiful feeling of vacation.
Yeah.
And we're like, what's going on? The guy
relaxed.
was really nice. Hey, what's going on, guys? IDs and that. Yeah, pop, ta, right? And he goes, just put that right up there. I go, no problem, because in my head, I know it's 38 pounds or whatever it was.
There's no
right?
tension.
So we put it up there. And we put my wife's on there, and boom, 36 pounds.
Perfect.
Got you. You can't get us. And I put mine up there. Mine was a little bit bigger because but still it was probably 40 pounds. And I put it on there. I see 40, 45, 50, 63. I go, oh my God, I'm freaking out. And the guy has his foot on the weight, and him and my wife know because she caught it.
That's fantastic.
And I'm looking not at his foot, but I'm looking at the scale digital number, right? And I'm
happening?
like 38, 45, 50, 63. What the hell's going on here? And they just start dying laughing.
That's awesome.
So that was.
It's nice when it's nice when the people that are working
playing along with you.
They're having a little fun.
And he's laughing. He's like, "Oh my God, your face!" I go, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "What? What the hell did we just do from the house?"
Somebody stuffed a nuke in your bag. That's funny.
So that happens as well. But
awesome.
Yes, you have to get in that point of. I mean, it's 104 pounds, 140 pounds.
150. Oh, it was $150.
What? That is criminal.
It's awful. It really is.
It doesn't even creep up like 20 pounds every 5 pounds.
Yeah.
No, it's $155.
Yeah.
It's a pound over. Well.
Yeah.
Sorry, move it.
It's.
But
crazy.
you're a better man than me. I would have stopped everything, unzipped.
I don't know
Honey,
if that makes me better.
Here.
I think it makes me shy. I'm like, sure, I'm just gonna root around in my underwear to figure out.
I would have said.
Yeah.
I would have showed him.
I'm like,
this.
See, it's got a hole.
It's like
okay. That one's going.
It's like that joke, Maniscalco, who says,
"Oh,
you need to take off 4 pounds." How much is 4 pounds?
I don't know.
2 pair of underwear and a socks.
Right.
4 pounds.
What is it? Yeah. So no, not experimenting.
Yeah.
But
for
that's
$150.
Okay. Yeah.
You won't do it again though.
Oh no, I'll never. Like I said, most of the time,
you're good.
It's never been a problem. Yeah. But it's okay.
Especially when the other one's like 28 pounds.
Oh, that's what made that's like, the part that killed me.
You can't.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, just strap them together and tell me how much they weigh. So anyway, it is what it is. But
this was a different podcast.
It was a little bit different. Vacation week.
Yeah,
makes it a little different. But
and soon you'll be doing all this with a child. So this is a plea to you, Disney. We could. I mean, you already have a guy who's speaking so highly about your company.
I am
before you even give him a dime.
I am a Platinum Castaway Club member. That's it.
Well, if they want to give things our way, I could become a Disney fan.
But anyway, thank you for making it all the way to the end with us, and we will see you next time.
Well, folks, that's another episode of the Gray Hair and Daycare podcast in the books. Thanks very much for tuning in and spending this time with us. We hope it was fun. If you enjoyed this week's descent into the madness of dadness, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of our future adventures. And while you're at it, give us a like and share the cast with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Carrier Pigeon, whatever you crazy kids are using. Have any hilarious parenting stories of your own? Questions about navigating fatherhood later in life, or even when normal people do it? Email us at ghdc.podcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to bed.